Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast for your Wednesday night, and it is ANZCAR Cup. We're back again. Not the Cup Series. I've made a mistake there. It is the Xfinity, the cars, the Thunder Series, and it is the season finale tonight. We will crown another winner. It will be the second time this week. Who will join Edward Foster in the championship winners circle? The championship at the front here is close. We don't actually have current standings on where we're at just yet. Carl's just off working on that at the moment, so I'll bring them up in a few minutes when he jumps into the booth. But we do know that it is close at the front. We suspect Hamish Gallagher, who's had very, very strong form throughout this series, is going to be contesting for the championship tonight, along with Josh Mickelmore. Could that man on screen there, Hobbo, just practicing a bit of his best drift action, could he jump in and spoil the party? He's run very, very well here as well right throughout his participation in this season, as JCW there just rearranges the front of the 35 on the infield fence. So how remiss of me not to announce it. Well, of course, we're at Watkins, Glen, and it is a bit of left and a bit of right turn tonight for the guys as well. So we'll have to have a look at how they get on with that. We've been here already this year, and it was a good race for Hobbo. So he's pretty strong in the V8 supercar on iRacing, and albeit they are a completely different kettle of fish to what we've got here tonight, that experience does help. The brakes on these a little bit smaller, nowhere near as much downforce or aero on the car as well. So it's going to be a challenge for our drivers tonight, and we're looking forward to bringing it to you. We've got around about 4 minutes to go here in this race, and I believe we've got about 35 laps tonight. So we'll have to see what strategies the drivers adopt to make their way through. In the meanwhile, let's have a quick look at the temperatures on track at the moment. We've got 41 degrees, so it is a belter, and that is going to play a little bit of havoc on tyre wear as well. So plenty of things for the drivers to overcome here tonight as they get through this race. On top of that, of course, we're back here tomorrow night from 7:45, or in fact it will be 8 o'clock, but we'll be back here with the Cup, and we're running our usual 2 consecutive nights at the same track, just following the official calendar here. So looking forward to getting back into the Cup cars after a week off, and on Monday night we do have a special event as well. So we're on the airways on Monday, back with that before Oz Pro-Am on Tuesday, and we get back into another week of streaming. So still plenty of action here on FGM eCast for the balance of your week. If you are with us, do give the stream a like and a follow, a share. We do appreciate your support, as always, in getting this done. A big thank you as well, before we forget, to Matty Hunter, who has put together this season, and we thank him very much for his work as part of the committee. And he has done a fantastic job here in getting this season together. Good to see Luke Trahare join. G'day, Luke. Luke is just out for the week. He didn't hand his homework in on time, rolled out the dog-aided excuse, and got a week penalty as a consequence. So he's missing that final round here tonight, but no doubt he'll be back for the Cup action tomorrow night. So Luke, hope you're putting the feet up, mate, kicking back and keeping well. So we've got 2 minutes remaining here in practice, and then we will head into qualifying. If it's the first time you've joined us tonight, usual story from our perspective, which is solo qualifying. The guys will get 2 laps to do their best and see where they start. It's going to be important to get up the front here tonight, of course, not managing the race as they normally would. It's going to be about keeping out of the potential damage. So with 20 cars on track and those high track temperatures, we're going to see a lot of that, I think. And that's turn 1. That's where it's all going to be risky at the start, risky business. So we'll see how they get on here. Just doing some premature celebrations on screen there, Cade Donnelly, but he is off the screen now, so we'll move along. So we're just waiting for the session to tick over here before we do get into qualifying. 2 minutes ago, most people have jumped on board with Hobbo for the minute. It looks like he's going to pull up after doing a 13.85 as the fastest lap around. He's half a second clear of Hamish Gallagher and Ruben Phelps. So let's see how they go. He's just going to do a little bit more drift practice here. He's got Cade Donnelly right behind him. Maybe trying to get a practice lap in. There's Hobbo there just showing us how it is done. Those rear tyres, 54 entry. It's been really strong, so hopefully he jumps up into the Cup for next season. I know it does conflict with some of his other stuff that he runs. He does plenty of driving, Hobbo, across a variety of things. I saw him the other day doing some dirt as well, so that's a game that's increasing in popularity amongst the sim world. In fact, Dirt 2, I believe it was, that a couple of the guys run with. In fact, the man who's just jumped into the broadcast booth like he owns the joint, because he does, Edward Foster, we're just talking about Dirt 2, Ed.
We're just talking about Dirt 2, a topic very close to my heart, that one.
Yeah, I was just saying that we saw Hobbo doing some dirt driving on iRacing, but that there's a couple of guys like yourself who are getting into dirt.
Yeah, I mean, I've played it sort of on and off for a while. I mean, Hobbo can drive anything, so I guarantee you he's a lot quicker than me at it. But certainly do enjoy getting out there and sliding about. Very hard to get run into by an opponent when you're out there by yourself, so you've got no one else to blame when the tree jumps out in front of you. But yeah, enjoy it. It's great.
Those bloody trees always getting in the way, and you've obviously sobered up after the long night partying from your Truck Series win.
Yeah, not too much partying midweek, unfortunately, but yeah, certainly did enjoy a quiet beverage to myself, and have thought I'd come in here tonight and see if you guys wanted any company for the final round of the Thunder Series. Always welcome. I saw that you were on Microsoft Flight Sim, and I thought you might just do a flyby over the track, and you've jumped in the box. Carl's back as well, so Carl's just got some points updates for us as well, but we're on board here with Hobbo. He's going to get started on a flying lap, so Carl, if you do the honours, mate, as always, take us around a lap at Watkins Glen.
Absolutely, and good evening, everybody. Yes, we're coming down at the start finish straight here at Watkins Glen, the smaller circuit, of course, for the ANZCAR action into the first corner. Fast right hand, you can take a lot of curb on the exit here, run out wide, get the speed going up towards the S's. Turn 2, very quick right-hander into the fast left-hander over the top of the brow of the hill. Very easy to come unstuck here as you get very close to the barrier, running through turn 4. Onto the big long stretch now. Of course, no bus stop chicane. You're just going to head right down towards the loop from here and work your way all the way. Oh, sorry, there is the bus stop chicane. Sorry. Guaranteed to get something wrong, and I've already done it. Down towards turn 5 now, the long right-hander. Easy on the power here. Now, when you've got the extra bit of circuit, you can actually ease off the brakes and get on the power a little bit earlier, but here you have to just be a little bit more patient to get this little section of straight here towards turn 6. Very tricky corner, this one. Left-hander, uphill, slightly banked. Wait until you get on the concrete here before you start thinking about putting the power down. Take a nice bit of curb down towards turn 7. Right-hander onto the start-finish straight again. Get on that concrete. Get as much speed out of there as you can for that long start-finish straight. A lap of Watkins Glen. A fantastic track to go on.
Unbelievably clean.
Yeah, sorry, we got to figure out who's going to talk here, but yeah, certainly Hobson there putting in a great lap as expected. A good portion of a second faster than anybody else at the moment.
Yeah, well, obviously I'll take a little bit of a back seat and just try and run the cameras as well with special comments like we kind of do when there's three of us in here. I'll let you guys rejoice, given, Ed, what I saw, the livery that you're going to run, the livery you're going to run next Monday night. You guys probably have a couple of things to chat about.
Yeah, certainly. We'll leave that one. We'll probably leave that one until the special event starts. That's going to be a really good event. Lots of these guys that we're seeing out here on track tonight going to be taking part in that one as well, coming up next Monday night. So everyone's looking forward to it. Something a little bit different for ANZCAR, one of our special events. So yeah, it should be really good.
Yeah, always exciting as well, and a fantastic track to be hosting at as well.
Yeah, definitely. Indianapolis, absolutely brilliant. It was just take a look here to see Hobbo completing the second of his 2 flying laps. Wouldn't expect this one to actually be quicker. Normally the tyres go off a little bit, and that does prove to be the case, although it's very, very, very close. So it's Hobson sitting there as expected on pole at the moment. Hamish Gallagher sitting there in P2. And if I'm not mistaken, those two are the two currently fighting the deciding championship here tonight between them.
I think it's down to championships very close up the front, and I had the wrong screen up, which is always handy. But Gallagher, and I think as well, his teammate is
Josh Micklemore.
well. Josh Micklemore is up there as well in the championship standings as it stands. So once all the drop rounds come in and come into effect, it's going to change things up a little bit. But Hobson has had a fantastic first season in ANZCAR and just really showing some great skill on the road circuits, but also on the ovals as well, which is one of the harder things to do.
Yeah, the guy can drive anything, can't he? It's a bit like the great Mario Andretti in that way. You know, he can jump into absolutely anything, dirt car, stock car, V8 supercar, Formula car. He's going to be fast, and it leaves the rest of us just sitting here feeling a little bit envious, doesn't it, of his ability to just jump from one car to another and be just as quick in all of them. But yeah, you've got to tip your hat to guys like him who can do it. Another one I'm tipping my hat to tonight, Hamish Gallagher, up there in second place. Now, with the greatest respect to him, he is somebody that we never really used to think too much about when we come to these road courses. He's definitely a factor now. He's obviously worked really hard on his road course driving, and he's particularly good in these what they call the Xfinity car, the Thunder car for ANZCAR, and he's going to be a threat going forward. He's going to be a threat here tonight. He'll be a threat tomorrow night when we race here again in the Cup, and kudos to him because he has improved out of sight on the road courses.
Yeah, really big improvements over the years. We saw it last year, Hamish Gallagher just gaining pace and pace and pace. And then prior to joining Mitch Motorsport, of course, a very good signing for that team. He has definitely been one of those drivers. Another driver doing well up there at the moment in P4 is Ruben Phelps, and he's had a fantastic season in the Xfinity cars too. He's currently sitting third in the championship before drop round, so he is definitely up there in that battle. He's going to need a bit of a miracle tonight to actually get the title, but getting up inside the top 5 area is a fantastic result from Ruben Phelps, one of the newer entries to the series as well, as we see the stalwart there. One of the stalwarts on the series, Kate Donnelly, getting a nice run there. A really good lap. Simboys have been doing some good jobs on the road circuits recently, setting some good pace. P5 for Kate Donnelly there, P6 for Christopher Finley as well. So those guys have been doing some good runs with each other.
Yeah, certainly, and happy to see my teammate up there in the Natari Autosport car P3, Josh Carroll-Walden, sitting there at the moment. Hopefully he's able to hang on to it. We are coming into the closing minutes of qualifying now, so he's looking good with only a couple of guys to run, but of course anything can happen. But it looks as though he will be starting from at least the second row. And yeah, as you mentioned, some new faces making their way up the top of the order, and they're, as you say, especially you guys look at guys like Donnelly and Finley, quite quick on the road courses, quite quick on the short tracks as well. I've had a bit of chance to race those guys on the short tracks, and seem to be getting around here pretty well as well. So be interesting to see what they can pull out tonight.
That's it. And I can't. Stuart, did you mention the standings before the race?
No, Carl, it's what you were ducking off to grab, mate.
Okie dokie, yes, I thought I was doing something. Yes, so Hamish Gallagher currently sits up the top of the points with 412. Second is Josh Micklemore. He is 21 points behind. 47 points down in third is Ruben Phelps. Brenton Hobson, 55 off the lead. Maddie Raymond in fifth, 57 off the lead. Sixth is Brenton West, 86 down. Kay Donnelly is seventh, 94 off the lead. 96 off the lead is Norman Clark in eighth. Ninth is Michael Skurlock, 102 off the lead. And 104 is Matt Hunter in 10th position. So some regular faces up there, but a fair few new names, especially to the ANZCAR series. Brenton West has been having a really strong season as well, one of those newer drivers to the series. It's good to see them coming through and setting some very good laps and getting good championship results as well.
Yeah, Brenton West is one of those guys that I've sort of had an eye on since early in the season when I jumped into my first race of this series at Coda and ran around there, and I was having a bit of a battle with him for most of the race, actually. And he's one that I've had my eye on. He's done very, very well. And I'll be interested to see if at the end of this season he decides to start potentially running in some of the other categories as well. He's almost tied himself exclusively to this Thunder series so far. I'd like to see what he's actually capable of in a Cup car.
Yeah, we saw, of course, Hobson coming over with a bit of a Cup debut as well, and he made a big statement with that one. We've seen a few of these drivers coming over, and they have put on some fantastic results, and this is exactly what the Thunder Series is there for. It's to get the new faces in, get them a little bit more familiar with some of the drivers around them, and get them up to the Cup level as quick as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great series in its own right anyway. I mean, there are guys out there who may not wish to progress to Cup. They might not be interested in driving the trucks, and they may focus on this series exclusively. And certainly it's a championship worth winning. Got a few faces in there tonight with a chance of doing just that. So it's going to be interesting come the end of this one. I mean, looking at his prowess on the road courses so far, you'd have to say Hobson the favourite for the victory. What that's actually going to do as far as shake out the championship points, there are 2 drop rounds in the series, don't forget, which muddies the waters a little bit as far as what we're actually trying to figure out points-wise. So let's see what happens. Let's see what Hamish Gallagher's able to pull out. He's a little way further back from Hobson, though he'd want to be in qualifying. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything for the race. So these guys are going to start gritting up in just a few seconds, and then it'll be on, and we'll have all our questions answered in 33 laps' time.
Yeah, it's all well and good leading down towards turn 1, but this first corner is a bit of a deadly one. I mean, if you misjudge your braking point, it is very easy to go into the side of somebody, and you can get taken out quite quickly, even at the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very, very easy corner to get sucked into. You've got that downhill braking zone. There's a few bumps there. It even gives you that impression of that you can possibly carry a little bit too much speed through there than you actually can. So you can find yourself sort of catching and sliding the car through there. And, of course, that overheats the tyres. These cars don't like sliding very much, and you can find yourself in a world of trouble. So coming down into turn 1, the tyres aren't going to be that hot yet. But, yeah, just missing a braking point, or if you miss it 2 or 3 laps in a row, you're going to find yourself in a bit of trouble.
Absolutely. So let's go through the grid. First and second, we have Brenton Hobson on pole position, Hamish Gallagher in second. Second row of the grid, we have Joshua Carroll with Ruben Phelps. Third row is Kay Donnelly and Christopher Finley. Fourth, we have Brenton West, Josh Micklemore. Fifth row is Davidson and Griffiths. Sixth is Clark and Callow. Seventh, we have Schultz and Raymond. Eighth, we have Hunter and Priest. Ninth, we have Patton and Wellman. 10th, we have Cock and Dillon, and Bill Hickey towards the back of the grid. Both neither Dillon or Hickey set times, so they'll be trying to work their way up the field if they jump in. So it'll be interesting to see how they do if they jump up. So we'll see how they progress through the night. But the eyes are going to be on the front of the field. It's going to be that championship fight between the 54, the 13, the 06, and of course the 31. Josh Micklemore, Ruben Phelps, Brenton Hobson, and Hamish Gallagher. They are all up towards the top of the championship, and they're going to want a good, strong result tonight to cap off the Xfinity Series here on Wednesday Night Thunder.
Yeah, certainly. And when we have a look at the grid and when you look at the championship contenders that you just mentioned, I think Josh Micklemore's going to wanting to make some positions pretty early. He's a little bit further back than he probably want, especially when you look at those other 3 championship contenders all up there sort of in the top 2 rows, and he's starting back there on the 4th row, so he's going to want to push through between those 2 Sim Boys cars and try and get up onto the back of Ruben Phelps at the very least in the first lap. He's going to need to if he's going to make anything happen tonight, because once they all get settled in, it's very, very difficult to try to actually make those moves without as we spoke about before, overheating the tyres and those kind of things. So it's best to do it on the first lap if at all possible, and certainly it's going to be something that I think Mick Moore's going to be looking at getting done early.
Yeah, look, it's trying to get it done early, but he's also got to be a little bit safe with it as well. It's, you can't take too much risk, but he's got to be aggressive as well. So it's that sort of, it's the scramble with the championship, which makes it a little bit more exciting for us to call.
Yeah, definitely, and the fact that no one really knows where they're at as well. I mean, you can go through and try to calculate, and I think, as I said the other night, I tried to calculate drop rounds in my head once, and I went out about 20 points out, so I don't try anymore, and I wonder if any of these guys have got it actually worked out what they need to do, but it's certainly a difficult thing to figure out. They're running around on their pace lap now, of course. They're going to be trying not to build up too much heat with those tyres. That may sound a little bit strange given the fact that racing tyres are renowned for working well when they get hot, but these are so susceptible to wear. They're such heavy cars and such small tyres for a race car at the very least, that the tyres, once they get hot, they just start to go away from you. So these guys are going to be working those tyres as little as possible in this opening lap, and trying to keep them as cool as possible for when they make that braking down into turn 1.
You often hear race drivers complaining about the pace car being a bit too slow. I think they're going to be complaining about it being a bit too fast at the moment. They want to do a almost Formula 1-esque pace lap of going as slow as humanly possible right now. But it's all about that preparation, isn't it? Just getting the tyres to a somewhat operating temperature. You want the brakes as well not to be absolutely stone cold coming down towards that very tricky turn 1.
Yeah, more than anything else, you just want to make sure you've got a certain amount of bias adjustability in the car as well. Not too much, but you want to make sure that you've got it set in such a way that you can actually brake quite well on those cold tyres, get it through that turn, and then adjust it to potentially what you're going to run for the race. Maybe even play with it a little bit more from there. So that's something that these guys are able to play with inside the car, even with the effect setup. But pace car's about ready to duck on off, as they say, and we're about to get going for the final time this season.
That's it, and we're going to have the green lights here at Watkins Glen for round 12 of Thunder Series. Brendan Hobson gets a good start away from Hamish Gallagher. Joshua Carroll Walden also getting a nice little bit of a run underneath Ruben Phelps at the moment. Carroll Walden going for the move early. You can see Gallagher getting held out a little bit. Carroll Walden's going to get a nice run here, but Gallagher will just duck in behind Carroll Walden there, all away safely at the front.
All right, so JCW making that move down the inside of Hamish Gallagher. That is not what Hamish wanted. Hamish wanted to be right on the tailpipes of Hobson, but Hobson's clear right out at the front of the field off the start there. And now Gallagher's got JCW to deal with, and he's not going to be easy to pass. I can tell you, he never gives me any help as a teammate. He's certainly not going to help Hamish Gallagher out. That's for absolute cert. And you can see Ruben Phelps made a decent enough start there, holding onto his position. And then we've got the two sim boys, as we mentioned, Donnelly and Finley in there behind, Brenton West and Josh Mickelmore, we spoke about before, sitting in there as well, sitting in, I believe, around about position 8. So he's going to want to be making moves forward ASAP.
It's all about getting those moves done, and of course it's a long race as well. We've got 33 laps of this race, and it's punishing on those tyres, as you said. Fuel, you've got to think about a little bit as well. So drivers have got to do those calculations to get it right. Looks like everybody's pretty much made it through this first lap. Aidan Schultz having a good run on Jackson Callow. A bit further down the field, you can see there is somebody just locks up. I think that might have been Brennan West just locking up into the first corner. So easy to do with these cars. These things like to lock their brakes.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but I'm seeing Aidan Schultz running the number 77, which isn't entirely correct. So they might have something to say about that after the race. We'll leave that be for the time being. Troy Davidson, I'm having a look at as well. He is all over the back of Josh Mickelmore trying to get the move done there. They're kind of running nose to tail at the moment. All single file, just getting themselves sorted out. JCW actually is starting to make a little bit of a gap on Hamish Gallagher. Now, is that to say that he's using a little bit too much of those tyres to get that done? Or is that genuine pace? We're going to find out in around about 5 or 6 laps time whether that's something that's actually sustainable for him or whether he's cooked them off too early.
Yeah, you don't want to push too fast, too hard, too early, so to say, on the tyres, because you're going to be taking these quite a long time into the race, and the more you push early on, the more you punish those tyres, and that can really come back to bite you later on. As JCW's had a moment, and he's gone round just before turn 7, I think that is.
Yeah, okay, well that's unfortunate for him, isn't it? He made such a good getaway. and has just dropped it there. Pretty easy to do, although he's it looks as though he's just got a bit up on that curb, bounced the rear and just slid the back end, was unable to save it, and quite lucky to actually miss Phelps as well. I can't see any damage to that car. Looks as though he's no, the car's absolutely damage free, just a light touch, but that's sent him tumbling down all the way almost to the back of the field, so he's going to be filthy with that.
Yeah, he's going to be kicking himself. Matty Raymond making a good move on Norman Clark up through the S's at the moment. He's managed to just get up in front of Norman there, and managed to get a good position there as JCW makes a big pig zero coming out of the S's, just trying to push a little bit too hard, and I think that's his race done. You can see there in the background.
Yeah, that's a consequence of lighting up those rear tyres, as we spoke about before. He's got the tyres a little bit hot, making that mistake, running off the track, spin flicking the car back around, and hasn't given it enough opportunity to actually cool those rears. And it looks as though the car's actually just quite simply gotten away from him up there through the S's, overcorrected straight in the fence. And that's not going to do his demeanour any good at all, I shouldn't think. And that car is going to be probably our first retirement of the night.
Big shame there. Josh Micklemore's had a bit of an offer as well between turns 6 and 7, as we see Aidan Schultz and Scott Griffiths having a battle too. Currently for 9th and 10th, Griffiths and Schultz side by side at the moment. Sorry, that's for 8th and 9th at the moment. They're going into the first corner now, battling it out, and Scott Griffiths just makes a bit of a mistake, goes a bit wide. They're going to go 3 wide up into the S's. That's not going to work. They just ease off in time. Griffiths coming aggressively back on track there. That was almost a very sketchy moment. You do not want to be going 3 wide up the S's.
That is the first time I think I've ever seen Jackson Callow back out of anything. So I fully expected him to keep the nose in there, but he's decided to back out of that. Probably a very good decision, because they weren't all going to survive that. And unfortunately, just went back and had a bit of a look at that Josh Micklemore incident as well. He's run a little bit wide. It's almost like there's some oil down there or something. JCW and Micklemore going off. The two Joshes. Maybe there's a magnet in the grass for anyone called Josh down there, but yeah, unfortunate for him. It's going to make his task more steeper now that he's back in 12.
Yeah, he's really going to have to fight hard. And no, it is tricky. It's not the easiest track to overtake on Watkins Glen, especially in the Cup configuration. You know, it can be a little bit tricky, as they've got a good move going on down the front straight at the moment. Christopher Finley and Brendan West at the moment. West is working his way up the field, side by side, coming into the first corner. West is going to be the last of the late breakers there, taking that inner line there, getting a nice move on Christopher Finley there, and managing to make it stick to the S's as well, so he's going to be able to defend that spot.
Yeah, and Finley's pretty sensible as well. He would have known that West is up there on the inside, and he's one of those guys that's very, he's got a good race brain, Chris Finley, and he will be fully aware that that wasn't worth fighting for at this stage, and he's going to try and get him back later on. He'll just settle himself down and try to judge what kind of pace West has got, and look at getting back at him potentially through the pit stops.
Yeah, just something you're mentioning before, just with tyre temperature, of course, when you do light up those rear tyres in these cars, it's very hard to get them back down to temperature. What sort of things do you have to sort of look at to try and cool them off a bit?
Drive slower. That's all there is to it. There isn't too much way. Of course, you know, there's all the usual things, trying to be a little bit smooth with your inputs, but those are things that you're trying to do anyway when you're racing these cars. So there's really not a lot that you can do apart from slow down a bit, to be perfectly honest, if you're looking at cooling the tyres down. It's not going to be too bad around here in terms of residual heat, just because you have got a couple of long straights there, which will help with that if you do happen to get them a little bit warm. But yeah, definitely it's if you do get them to a catastrophic level, you are just going to have to back off and slow down. And interesting what you were saying earlier on about there being not too many overtaking spots here. I mean, realistically, you've got turn 1, you've got the bus stop, and if somebody makes a mistake through the bus stop, it's really a carousel. Apart from that, there aren't really too many opportunities, and they're the kind of places that are a little bit sketchy to get it done as well. So a lot of the time you'll see drivers just tucking in behind another one and just waiting for a mistake.
Yeah, as we see a little bit further down the field at the moment, it's all about that's Aidan Schultz and Gary Wellman.
Yeah, so we've got Wellman, Schultz, and Callow there all in a line. It looks as though Wellman's actually just recently overtaken Aidan Schultz, because he was behind him going across the line the last time. So that'll a decent move there by Wellman. That'll put up into P9. Schultz dropping down to P10, and Callo's going to start to want a piece of this in a moment as well. I'm absolutely sure of it. He's going to see that Schultz is there. He's lost one position. He would have seen where he's vulnerable. You can see Callo just moving around as he applies the throttle, coming out of the second last corner, out of the last corner, tries to get a good run onto the straight and see if he's able to do anything down into turn one. I don't think he's necessarily close enough this time, but a couple of laps, who knows?
Yeah, it's turn one is one of those areas where you can dive bomb people, but generally ends up in a bit of a mess. Same with the carousel. We sometimes see people doing the old dive bomb there, and it's not generally a good idea. It's better just to wait and bide your time a little bit for that slightly safer overtake, as it looks like Callo is shaping up an opportunity on the bus stop, thinking a little bit better of it. You can see a little bit further down, Schultz just trying to break the toe a little bit. He's trying to defend, just keep Callo out of that little bit of draft. But Callo's got a good run through the bus stop there as he gets a nice bit of drive there. He's going to get a good run into the carousel. Schultz is probably going to run a little bit wider here. Callo a little bit narrower. Might see Callo try and get the under here. Going to make it not quite. Callo loses the rear end there. Almost loses the car completely.
Yeah. Well, someone like Jackson Callo, obviously, with what he does for a day job these days, is somebody with very good coordination, what they call the hands and feet skills. So I'm not surprised that he's got that kind of car control, even though he's been away for quite a while. He was more than capable of catching that, and hasn't cost him a lot of time either. He's drawn right up onto the back of Aiden Schultz again. Looks as though potentially there's a couple of spots on the track where he might be getting a little bit held up, but he will be satisfied with the fact that that group as a whole seem to be pulling away from Josh Mickelmore as well. It looks as though he might be at a little bit of the cork in the bottle with Matty Raymond right up there behind him, Norman Clark as well.
Bit of a mistake for the 06. His name is not Josh, but he made the same mistake in the Josh corners between 6 and 7. Went a little bit wide, and that gave Kay Donnelly the chance to get past Ruben Phelps. He's now got Brenton West all over the back of him. Ruben Phelps just settling down the car again, just getting back into the rhythm of things, but it's given Kay Donnelly a nice bit of gap between himself and West now. So he's got a chance to try and chase down Hamish Gallagher, who is I just had a big moment on my screen there.
Yes, we all had that, so mine's definitely come back. So Kay Donnelly's actually had a couple of spots really fall for him tonight, and he seems to have a fair bit of pace as well, so I don't think it's going to be something that he's going to relinquish in a hurry either. He's got Phelps and West up there behind him who are battling, and Kate looks, if I may say so, quite serene there, just out the front, not sliding the car, not doing anything like that. He's just calmly going about his business and sitting up there in P3. And just an update at the front of the field, because we haven't really said too much about the battle at the front of the field, because there isn't too much of a battle at all. Brenton Hobson here on lap 9 is 7 seconds clear of Hamish Gallagher in P2, who himself is around about 6 seconds clear, 5-6 seconds clear of Kay Donnelly.
Yeah, nice clean run up the front between those guys. They're just setting very good lap times. Hobson is down in the 15s, Gallagher in the very low 16s. So Hobson's still setting some really good pace out there. 15.4 last time round. That is a very, very good pace. The only car that was close to it was actually Gary Wellman with a 15.8, but most other people are running in the 16s, mid-16s generally, but a couple in the lows.
Yeah, so while we've just been recapping the leaders for you, Jackson Callo has got that move done on Aiden Schultz, so he is away. And Matty Raymond actually had a big look at the inside Josh Mickelmore down into the bus stop. Wasn't able to get that done. Mickelmore held that well. Raymond not one to just go sending it in recklessly for no reason, so he'll wait for a better opportunity. Norman Clark hanging in there quite well, as we've got one going off in the background. I think that might have been Dwayne Preece. Yeah, Dwayne Preece has had a big run wide there at what we're now calling the Josh corners, and he's run wide onto the grass. Gather that up. He's going to lose a position to Matt Hunter, but really no harm done.
Yeah, but it's more just a frustration when you're driving, and you just got to settle down and just get back into the rhythm of it. When you make a mistake like that, you can very easily get angry, frustrated, and then cause yourself to have a much bigger accident later in the lap.
Yeah, certainly. So now that the field's starting to spread out a little bit, there are a few cars running quite closely together. We've got Kate Donnelly's leading a little bit of a train. I was going to say he was a little bit of a cork in the bottle, but that's probably not accurate. It doesn't really appear as though he's holding those behind up, but he's certainly leading that train. And these guys now are on lap 10 of 33. They're going to be starting to think about pit stops soon. So we're probably not going to see too much in the way of aggressive moves on track at this stage, because they know they've still got the pit stop. And one of the things they're going to be looking at doing is the power of the undercut. Very, very important here. Let's have a look. Guys will qualifying, do the fastest race laps down in the 1 minute 14 second bracket, a lot of them, 15s for some. Now looking at Cade Donnelly on his last lap as he crosses the line here, he's down in the 16s, almost the mid 16s. So if you come in and make that undercut, even by 1 lap, you can gain 2 seconds on the car in front, which, if you're only half a second behind, is going to give you a fair bit of buffer to jump the way through. However, the downside of that is when the other guys do make their pit stops, they're going to be on slightly fresher tyres than you, and you're going to find yourself defending at the end of the race all the way through the last half of the race. So if you're going to try the undercut, you've got to make sure you've got a solid defensive game.
You really need to make it pay off for you. And, those tyres are going to be very much wanted, I imagine, because he's getting to a stage
talk
now.
over you. Gary Wellman having a look down the inside of Scott Griffiths there into the bus stop, just backs out and thinks better of that. Wellman starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Callow, so obviously wanted to get on with it, and he had a big look down the inside of Griffiths there. This is probably the closest battle on track at the moment. Callow having a look. As Wellman gets a big time sideways, just trying to get a little bit greedy there with the throttle perhaps, and struggling to get off the corner as well. That's going to give Callow a really good invitation to get down the inside. Wellman not looking as though he's fighting that too much, and he quite smartly just rolls out of that, not wanting to go side by side through that turn. It's seen enough people come to grief already, and that's another spot for Callow. He's going to range up onto the back of Griffiths now, and in the background just see Matty Raymond still working on the back of Josh McLaughlin.
And Callow makes the move into pit lane. He's the first to blink. He's the first to decide, yep, I want some fresh tyres. I was about to say, that's the thing. At this stage of the race, you start thinking, these tyres are getting very, very worn. I would rather have some nice fresh ones to get towards the end of the race. Maybe a little bit early on lap 12. It's still quite a long way to go. 21 laps remaining, of course. Coming in this early could affect you quite negatively later in the race, especially if you are suffering from wear this early.
Yeah, that's, I said starting to think about, I didn't think that we'd actually get anybody down the lane this early. That's pretty much on track for a 2-stopper. I wonder if he's even thinking about that. I don't think that makes any sense today if that's what he's got in mind. Perhaps he's looking to run the last 20-odd laps of this race on that one set of tyres, which if he cooked the first set after 11 laps, makes me wonder what kind of price he's going to be paying for that great speed he was showing. But we'll find out. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve and he's going to make that work.
Yeah, Callow does have a bit of damage from earlier on where he caught the back of, I think it was Schultz, I think. So he is running a little bit of damage and over the left front as well. So maybe a little bit of damage coming into play there as well. Sometimes can be the case with panels and things affecting you. And mentally as well, you can get affected by damage. You sort of think it's much worse than it actually is.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that you often wonder about, how much it's actually affecting you, how much of your performance or lack thereof is down to the driving or the damage or anything, and it's a little bit of a hard thing to identify sometimes.
Jumping up to Schultz and Wellman. Schultz just makes a little bit of a mistake. Wellman makes a bit of a mistake. I thought Schultz was going to actually try up the S's there. That was very nearly a bit of a moment there between those two cars.
Yeah, certainly. Wellman looks as though he's struggling with those rear tyres. I'm not sure if he's running quite a rearward brake bias or something to help get the car turned, which is often quite a tempting thing to do with these because they do feel a bit bus-like when you're trying to get them to corners, just the nature of the cars. And the temptation can be to push that rear brake bias towards the rear and in an effort to help it get turned. I'm not sure if that's something that Wellman's done, but he definitely seems to be struggling with those rear tyres a little bit. Just getting the power down seems to be a little bit of a problem for him. So I wonder if he's going to start to think about potentially pitting. I know it's quite early on, we mentioned it before, but hey, Callow's done it, so maybe we'll see another couple of cars down the pit lane before too long.
Yeah, Dwayne Priest just popped it into pit lane. We got a good battle as well towards the front because Cade Donnelly's lost that gap. He is really starting to fall into the grasp of Phelps and West at the moment. Phelps and West in a bit of a Simboy sandwich at the moment, but this battle is looking very tasty up the front.
Yeah, they're catching on Patton as well. I think they're just about to put him a lap down. And he gets right out the way, actually, and lets those guys through, as he usually does. Fairly sensible bloke, raced him before many times, and he's always quite courteous on the track, so he lets those guys go. Donnelly is going to be mirror driving at this stage. He's got Phelps and West all the way up behind him. But the good news is for him, we're on lap 14 now, which is a lot better than lap 11 as far as pitting goes. So we're almost out half distance. So do we see somebody like a Kate Donnelly jump into the pits now and actually try to, if you are struggling on the tyres, if you're a Wellman, if you're a Donnelly, would you try that? Would you try jumping in the pits? As Donnelly just snatches the rear brakes a little, gets it gathered up, he's not even confident enough to run it all the way out to the edge of the track. That's showing how much he's actually struggling. Does he tuck into the pit lane here? No, he doesn't. He's going to go for another lap and try and give himself the opportunity to have it pay off at the end of the race. And Phelps looking as though he's going to have a move down the inside. He's got so much more grip under the brakes there. Donnelly gives him space on the outside, gets on the power a bit earlier, holds on to that position. The way that corner is, it's got a little bit of banking to it. You can run around the outside like that if you've got somebody pinched to the inside and holding the position. That's exactly what you saw Donnelly do there to good effect.
Yeah, there's another little battle brewing a little bit further down the field between Wellman and Davidson, who's just lost a position. Wellman just getting past Troy Davidson as we see the 46 there just getting a huge slap in the replay there. That was a big accident of Jackson Callow.
Oh yeah, I've just cut back to him, and it looks as though the front of that Mustang well and truly is a Mustang. Can't even tell anymore. Yes, it is. Well and truly bent up there, so it looks as though he's come to grief somewhere around the place. And he's unfortunately, what looked like a very promising start for him is not carrying on. He's the final car on the lead lap at the moment, so we'll see what he's able to do. But Donnelly is still leading that big train. He's copping a lot of pressure from behind. Does he pit this time? No, he doesn't. He's staying out for another lap, and are we going to see Phelps have a dig down into one?
Schultz having a big moment through the carousel, losing the back end, and that's going to give Josh Micklemore that position. So that was a big moment. That almost caught Micklemore out as Donnelly now losing a little bit of speed there. They're going to go too wide up into the S's. This is going to be a tricky one to hold off. Ruben Phelps doing a great job there just to slide it back in. That could have been a disastrous move, but they all managed to keep it going somehow.
Yeah, I reckon West gave him a bit of a break there, actually, and just cracked the throttle a bit to let him jump back in. Otherwise, all hell was going to break loose, and anybody could see that. So very well done to him. That just Donnelly gets another big slider. He has absolutely roasted those rear tyres. Phelps is going to get him now. Has to do. There's no way that Donnelly's going to be able to put the power down on the exit of this turn. Absolutely no chance. Although running around the outside is going to give him the best possible opportunity. And Phelps is the one that actually lights the rear tyres up, trying to take that tighter line. Now he's going defensive against West. Great stuff between these four. And Finley's just sitting there just going, come on, just crash into each other and get out my way.
Really just sitting there waiting, but he's not, he doesn't look like he's that much in wetting. He's keeping close as Donnelly does dive into pits.
Yeah, Donnelly down the lane. We already saw Davison come down the lane last time, and so we'll see what this stop looks like and how many spots he actually drops and what he's able to do when he gets back on the track. Anybody else? Looks like Matty Raymond, having got past Josh Micklemore, his jump into the pit lane. Norman Clark's coming in as well. I think I saw Wellman coming down too. So the pit stop's well and truly underway now.
Yeah, 17 laps to go, 17 laps done. We're at that halfway point. People have decided to split it in half completely. Just watch back the Jackson Callow incident just to see what actually happened. He just caught the right rear coming into turn number 6, just on that grass, tiny little bit of grass, and that was that, unfortunately. Big accident when you're going into that braking zone because you're carrying a fair bit of speed down towards that corner.
Yeah, and Gary Wellman has made an absolute porridge of his pit stop. He's made the old mistake, which is very easy to make here at Watkins Glen. You need to park a little bit out from the ball, a little bit further over to the left-hand side than you believe. He's still trying to get the thing in the box. He pitted it ages ago. You're going to measure this pit stop on a calendar. Finally, he gets into the pit box and he's able to get the tyres changed. But that's one of the things here at Watkins Glen. You pull right into the box with the sign directly in front of your face in the centre of the car, and if you're just slightly out, you can actually be too close to the pit wall. So you need to pit a little bit to the left of your box. And that's something that catches out people when you're around here. It looks as though it's called Gary out something fierce, and that is going to drop him way down the order.
Finley making a good move on Brenton West and Ruben Phelps just as Ruben Phelps came into pit lane. That's put Finley up into third position. Ruben Phelps in his pit stop right now, so he's going to want to try and actually have a bit of a quicker stop than Wellman. And as long as it's as long as he doesn't make a complete pig's ear and doesn't do the full Austin Powers manoeuvre, then he should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want any kind of idea about how much that's cost Wellman, I think I'm right in saying that, Christopher Finlay's teammate is actually about to lap Gary Wellman. That's how much time Wellman lost in the pits there.
He was in pit lane for 1 minute 12 seconds, which is a fair amount of time to be stationary. Hobson in pit lane.
A lap around here is only a minute 14, 15. So, yeah, that tells you all you need to know. And as you say, Hobson in the pits, 13 seconds in the lead. Hamish Gallagher's going to follow him in, so no alternate strategies there amongst the top two. And that is possibly going to give, we'll see, Chris Finlay the chance to come around and lead a lap, which is going to be, I'm not sure if it's his first lap lead in ANZCAR, but it's going to give him potentially a lead lap point if he crosses the line the next time round. He'll actually collect that. So, good times for Finlay and West.
Just holding it out a little bit longer, taking the pain in this section of the stint to hopefully enjoy a much better run later on in the race, of course, using that sort of like counter strategy. They'll see how long they can eke it out as well. Obviously, you can't be praying for a caution on a road course because it's not going to help you out too much, but Finlay up in the lead. West is putting all kinds of pressure on him still. West is really going for it at the moment. Josh Micklemore's staying out there as well, I think.
Yeah, and I've just noticed Dwayne Priest taking his car behind the wall. That thing was sat in pit lane with no hood on it, looking all kinds of ugly. So he's decided that that's enough for him for one night. And potentially we'll see him back here tomorrow night running the Cup car. Maybe not, but unfortunately his Wednesday night hasn't turned out anything like the way we would have hoped.
Always a shame when you have to call early doors. Never fun when the bonnet is missing as well. Not the way you want to end a race, preferably. Will we see these guys coming into pit lane now? It looks like they are going around for another lap.
Yeah, he's going to want to collect that lead lap point. So he's going to come across the line and lead a lap. So the 104, first place, he's going to collect that lead lap point. It's a great thing to be able to go back and say that you led one of these races. Very difficult to do. And he's going to go around and get that lap lead point, which is great for him. And we'll probably see him down at the next lap, I would imagine, unless he's going to hang right out. But I think any advantage that he's going to gain from those fresh tyres is almost going to be gone as West. Looks like he's going to take a little bit of a run here. Is he going to make a move in this bus stop? No. Thinks better of it. Looks as though Finlay and West, I would imagine they'd want to come in this lap because they're not going to have enough time to do anything if they leave it too much longer.
Yeah, they're absolutely hemorrhaging time. Brenton Hobson is chasing them down at a vast rate of knots. He is now only 4.5 seconds behind them. You'll be able to see him on screen very shortly. There you go in the background of the picture there. You can see Hobson absolutely flying at the moment. It's a Brenton and Brenton behind a Christopher Finlay at the moment. Finlay doing a good job to keep it out there as long as he has. But as you say, I think this time round it's definitely time to call in pit lane. Finlay deciding to keep it out. West coming in, though. Yeah,
West coming in. I think West would have potentially been looking at it and going, I'm going to do what Finlay doesn't do. Because he did look as though he's carrying a little bit of extra speed, but he wasn't able to get that move done. We saw him look into the bus stop, back out of it. And so he's like, okay, I'll try a slide undercut on you and see if I can do anything there. But Finlay, he's doing really well to keep the tyres under it. You're not seeing that car slide too much. I guarantee you it feels absolutely horrible after 21 laps on those same set of tyres. But once he comes into the pits, I do wonder if he's going to have enough time left to do anything in this race. There's only going to be about 10 laps left by the time he comes in, slightly over that. And is it going to give him enough time on those fresh tyres to actually do what he needs to do and recover to where he wanted to? So, not sure. Time will tell.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Brenton West coming out in P8, I believe, just behind Ruben Phelps, I think. So he's going to want to try and chase down Phelps, but he did lose a fair bit of time there. So he's got around about 5 seconds to gain on Ruben Phelps at the moment, but you imagine that will be done relatively fast rate of knots on those slightly fresher tyres, so that will give him a bit of an advantage. We've got Finlay staying out there for the moment. He's still sticking it out there. Josh Micklemore as well, one of those guys trying the very, very alternate strategy. Matt Hunter too, sticking it out as long as possible. So 3 cars still yet to pit.
Yeah, I find it strange. But they might know something that I don't, potentially. Looking at those guys staying out on the track, I was just looking at who was it? I believe it was actually Tristan Koch. I was just having a look at when West came out in relation to him. West is, let's see what his first lap around is. Oh no, that's actually his out lap, so that's not going to be a great time no matter what, as he just puts Nigel Patton a lap down. But we'll see what kind of lap times he's able to pull out on those new tyres versus the guys that he was racing before the pit stop. So Finley, for example, last time around a 1:16.7. He's nearly down in 17s. Hobson's actually just overtaken him. He's got to come this time. Surely he's almost going to be out of fuel, I think. He's going to have to come down any tick of the clock. I'd be very surprised if he goes round again. Let's see what he does, because he's been proven wrong for about 3 laps in a row now. So see if he finally ducks into pit lane, and he doesn't. So I'm just going to stop predicting it now. He's obviously doing something completely different.
Yeah, trying a very different strategy. We did hear that the field might have been a little bit messed up, so they might be able to make it on a tank tonight. So I think a few drivers might be thinking about trying to actually stick it out there and try to do the whole race and actually lift it and try and actually do the full 33 laps of the race on a single tank and set of tyres. But got to say, those tyres will be feeling absolutely terrible, and it will be so easy to make a mistake on them.
Yeah, well, Josh Micklemore's last lap, a 1:18.1. That's horrible. He's obviously got shocking tyres on it. Gallagher's teammate has just passed him, and he's already taken off, already a good second and a bit up the road, and he only passed him a couple of corners ago. So Micklemore's going to be really suffering on those tyres. I'm quite impressed that he's actually managed to hang on to him this long. I think I would have been on the weeds a long time ago, but he's holding out there quite well. And we'll see what they do, whether he's going to stick this out. It's almost getting to the stage in the race. We're on lap 23. There's only 10 to go. And they're almost at the stage where these guys who are staying out, if it's possible to make it on no stops, make it on a single tank, they're almost committed now. They've almost got to the stage where they're not going to have enough time left in the race to recover everything they've lost with their slow lap times and the old tyres.
Well, I mean, look at Finley and Gallagher. There's quite a big gap between them, around about 15 seconds odd between Finley and Gallagher at the moment. So they've got Finley might actually have a chance of possibly P2 or even P3 at the moment. Josh Micklemore's got about 8 seconds over Kay Donnelly at the moment, so he might find his way up there a little bit further than he expected after that poor qualifying performance. So they might be able to make something of it, but the guys on fresh tyres are chasing them down at the moment. They are so much faster on the lap times. I mean, you've got Brendan Hobson up the front, obviously on the very fast lap times, but those guys that are staying out on those tyres are in the 17s, 18s sort of area, while everybody else is in the low 16s and 15s.
Yeah, just having a look at while you're talking there, is the gap between Donnelly and Phelps is very, very close indeed. We saw Donnelly quite early, didn't we? And he's basically gone back to around about where he was, notwithstanding the other drivers who are yet to pit. And he's got Phelps all over him, who of course has got much fresher rubber on that Supra, and he's going to be looking to make a move sooner rather than later, I should imagine. I'd also imagine that Donnelly's put a lot more care into looking after his rubber this time round. You see him driving very smooth, coming off the corner very smooth, so potentially learned his lesson from that first stint, and he's going quite well now.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be an interesting battle, and you've got West catching up to Phelps and Donnelly as well, so there's going to be a three-way battle there pretty soon. Matty Hunter's trying to keep out the grasp of Scott Griffiths and Matty Raymond at the moment, who are chasing him down as well. Hunter as well trying that long stint strategy, trying it on a single tank. So it's going to be fascinating to see if...
Callow off the track again. Callow's off the track at what now known as the Josh Curves. Gone out there into the sand trap. Just saw him get a little bit of a wiggle under brakes. That is a really busted up looking Ford Mustang, isn't it? And he's going to continue on. Looks as though he's got it gathered up and he's going to go along, but he's dropped a little bit of extra time there, which won't impress him that much.
No, big shame. And similar mistake to last time, actually, for Callow. He just caught that grass on the just coming into turn number 6. So similar mistake from him, unfortunately. And that's not an area where you want to catch grass, heavy braking. But up we have the battle for 5th place. Kay Donnelly is battling off Phelps and West. West has caught this group very quickly. So you can see the pace deficit on those older tyres as Donnelly loses the rear end. He gets lit up there. This is going to give Phelps a little bit of a chance down towards turn number 6. Not an ideal spot for overtaking. Ruben Phelps goes for it. He's going to look for a little bit of a lunge. Can't quite make it stick. This could give Brenton West the opportunity if he can get a good drive through turn number 7 down towards the first corner as Ruben Phelps has to lock up behind Donnelly. This is going to give West the run down underneath Phelps.
Yeah, West will get this done down in turn 1. He is on the freshest rubber of those 3. And he's going to be a much bigger problem for Donnelly to deal with, I think. Donnelly just keeping to the centre of the track when he made that little slide earlier on and leaving the other guys guessing about where exactly he was going to go. West does get that move done, and now he's going to range up on the back of that blue Mustang there and see what he's actually able to do about it.
Yeah, nice little dicing position there, which is what we do like to see. But Phelps coming out the worse for wear there, unfortunately. That sort of up towards turn 6 is not the best place to try and overtake. As we said, it does leave you a little bit vulnerable going down towards turn 7, and that mistake for Phelps really cost him quite a lot, so he's dropped down in the back of that order. Now West has the attack on Donnelly. Donnelly has been defending pretty much all night long as well and doing a good job of it.
Yeah, he is. He's got a fairly good knowledge about where to position his car, Donnelly, especially on these road courses. He positions the car quite well. So in terms of a defensive job that he's going to be doing, this job that he's really got no choice but to do now, given how early he pitted, he's well up for it. He's capable of it. Whether or not he's capable of keeping a hard-charging West behind on fresh rubber, I don't know. We'll see down here into turn 1 whether West has a look. Is he going to pop out? No, he's not. He's just going to wait potentially for that highly rear tyre sensitive run up the S's. Probably be looking to have a run at him up onto the back straight, I would imagine. Perhaps make a move to the bus stop.
Yeah, and the bus stop is one of those places where overtaking can be a bit of a white-knuckle ride. I mean, you've really got to have somebody that you sort of trust next to you going up there, because it is a relatively tight turn into that corner. West poking his nose out, just thinking about it, decides better of it, just drops back behind Donnelly. But I reckon he's going to have a bit of a look into the carousel. He might try and take a slightly higher entry line, try and get underneath Donnelly here and try for the overtake down towards turn number 6 if he can get a good run off the corner.
Yeah, he hasn't really got... he's not really close enough, I don't think. I think Donnelly's managed to extend that a little bit. And just while this battle seems to have calmed down just ever so slightly, I've got an interesting little fact, and that is that Chris Finlay, who's sitting there in second place still at the moment, just went round in a 1:17.2. Hamish Gallagher, who is just across the line, he's looking around about 8 seconds behind, across the line in a 1:15, 2 seconds faster. There's only around about 5 laps to go or so. So 2 laps, that's going to be 10 seconds. He's going to be on the back of him, but the tyres, Gallagher's tyres are going to wear too. Is he going to get to Finlay? Is he going to get the opportunity to pass him? This is going to... If Finlay makes this on 0 stops along with Mickelmore, they played an absolute blinder.
As West makes the move on Cade Donnelly into turn 1, they drag race down towards the S's, and Cade just lifted off. Nice move there from West. But yeah, as you're saying, this is going to be fascinating. Finlay may have absolutely played a blinder, as well as Josh Mickelmore. He is sitting there. He's got a bit of a gap, about 6 seconds back to Brenton West, who's now been unleashed from Cade Donnelly. West might have an opportunity to catch Mickelmore, but it doesn't look like Micklemore's going to drop much further than possibly 5th position as it currently stands.
Yeah, he's got that battle behind him, doesn't he? And West is coming on fresh tyres. I'd expect him to get there. But will he be able to get past? I'm not sure. You know, Micklemore's very good at this. You know, we've seen a number of times that he knows what he's about, even on the road courses where he probably would admit that he's a little bit weaker than the ovals. But yeah, he certainly knows how to position a car and how to handle one. Is West going to be able to do anything when he gets up there? Are those tyres going to be done? It's going to be fascinating to look between Finlay and Gallagher. It's going to be equally fascinating to look between Mickelmore and West, I think. We're in for a good finish between all of those guys.
That's it, and in the immortal words of Murray Walker from F197, catching is one thing, but passing is another.
Yeah, that good old line that he repeated about 5 times a race, given the limitations of BS1. And I still remember hearing about the unique feature of the Jordan Williams having an oval air intake above the driver's head, but that's another story for another day. I'm sure we've got way too much going on track to be recounting those kind of things, and we're just having another look, having a look at Donnelly there on the back of, not on the back of, Ruben Phelps on the back of him, still trying to find a way around. Looks as though Donnelly will have made, even with that very early stop, he's holding on quite well.
Yeah, doing a good defence there, and Ruben Phelps just looks to have just dropped off a little bit. He might have just burnt his tyres up a little bit too much with that little bit of a mistake. He's just had to ease off a little bit, just reset the pace a little bit before he can go on the attack again, but he just doesn't look like he's got the speed. And speaking of that, looking at the times, last time round, Josh Micklemore, 16.8 last time round. What was Brenton West's time? We'll soon find out. 16.5, so not much difference between Micklemore and West at the moment. So Micklemore might be in a really good position. We only got 3.5 laps remaining technically, so just had 4 laps, and those guys that stayed out are looking pretty good as it stands.
Yeah, I was just as you were talking about that, I was actually looking at the gap between Finley and Gallagher, and that is down to 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds. So as they cross the line, it's going to be much less than that as they cross the line this time. And of course, we are going to have 3 laps to go next time across the line. So this is the battle I'm really interested in seeing. Gallagher is absolutely wringing the neck of that Mustang trying to get up to the back of Finley. He's going to catch him. I think he's definitely going to catch him. Is he going to be able to get by? That's going to be the interesting thing. I would imagine that Finley's going to be... I don't really know how he's going to approach it. Is he going to be happy with 3rd place, or is he going to defend P2 for all he's worth? I'd like to see him fight. I'm not 100% sure that's the sensible one, but hey, we're here to be entertained, aren't we? So let's hope he makes a battle of it.
Yeah, he's on tyres that have done 30 laps around Watkins Glen, so, I mean, if he can fight, that will be an impressive thing to do, because there's probably not much rubber left on those things by now.
No, they're almost going to be down to the canvas, aren't they? So might just have a quick recap of your running order, top of the running order anyway, just as we're coming into these final few laps. While we're waiting for a few of these battles to be joined, we're probably not going to have too much time to go over it in the last couple of laps. So Hobson leading by 20 seconds almost over Christopher Finley. Then we've only got, 2 seconds now, just over 2 seconds back to Hamish Gallagher. Then Josh Micklemore holding on well in P4, Brenton West, Kate Donnelly making that long stint work for him there in P6, Ruben Phelps in P7. Scott Griffiths there coming under a little bit of pressure, maybe in a couple of laps from Matthew Raymond in 8th and 9th, and Matt Hunter holding down a solid 10th place position at the moment.
Fortunately, Jackson Callow's having another off. I think he's going to be pulling it in and possibly behind the wall. He's lost his bonnet, and that car is looking very sorry for itself. Unfortunate for Jackson Callow. He's had some good speed tonight, but just not the best luck on track positioning. So a little bit unfortunate for him out there. I was just skidding through, just having a look at some of the sort of battles, seeing what's actually going to be close for us at the moment.
Well, the battle for second is going to happen this lap, so we may want to actually have a quick look at that, because we've got Finley. He's leading Hamish at the start of that lap by 1.2 seconds. By the time they get through the bus stop and around the carousel, now the carousel is the place where the tyre wear hurts you the most, because it's a long, fast corner, and that is where you lose the most speed. So I think coming out of the carousel, we're going to see Gallagher right on the rear bumper of Finley. Let's have a look to see how close he actually gets. You don't need to talk about timing anymore. The gap very much visual. And this is where it's going to suffer, because those tyres just do not want to turn that car at all. And we can see there Gallagher, really made a ton of time there up onto the back of Finley. Now, you've got to remember, Gallagher's tyres aren't fresh by any means at the moment, but they're certainly a lot fresher than Finley's, which have been going now for almost 32 laps. They're coming around to start the final lap of the race, and this is going to be the battle for second. Gallagher versus Finley. How's it going to shake out? White flag.
Yeah, is Gallagher going to try and make a bit of a dive down to the first corner? Will he be able to make it work? Doesn't look like it. He's going to hold off a little bit. I think his best place is going to be the carousel head. It's going to be the position where he's going to be strongest, but he's got to keep close to Finley, and that's not easy to do as you run up through the S's here.
Yeah, well, the S's are very tyre critical, so he's going to be a lot better than Finley up there. He's going to be able to get the power down. This is where it's critical, right there, where you see the back end of Finley's car slide. that's where you're trying to get on the power. Very, very critical. Finlay looks as though he did a really good job of it. He just goes a little bit, looks at just covering off that inside there. Gallagher has to make a move. There's a championship on the line for him. He doesn't know exactly how many points he needs, and he's only got a couple of opportunities left to do this. Finlay now coming past the worst point on the track for him, the carousel. He's really got to get on the power early, but if he does it too early, he's going to slide that back in. He doesn't. Gets the car off the corner beautifully. Gallagher, what's he going to do? Hobson's going to cross the line here to actually take the victory. Fantastic dominating drive we've come to expect from him. Where's Gallagher going to get this done? He almost can't now. It's almost too late.
Is he going to try into turn 7? Try getting a little bit of a better run off. He can't make it work, and Finlay is going to pull a fantastic P2 here if he has the fuel to get across the line.
Well done, Christopher Finlay. Fantastic drive for P2, mate. Well done. And Hamish Gallagher there coming across the line in P3. He will have wanted better with his speed tonight. Josh Mickelmore, he's going to make that strategy work as well, crossing the line in 4th position. Probably as good as he could have done tonight, holding off Brenton West and Kate Donnelly coming across the line there together. It looks as though Ruben Phelps, who we're just waiting on, there he goes across the line, P7. And after that, Griffiths and Matthew Raymond have a little bit of a battle. Oh, Raymond gets it nice and crossed up there. Nearly
jumping down towards Troy Davidson, Norman Clark. They're going to be nose to tail as they come across the line. Davidson making a little bit of a mistake, but can't quite get the jump. Norman Clark is just going to finish behind him.
Yeah, so they've got that done, and of course the other cars are all a lap down, so they're all already crossed the line and in their positions. So, well, another great dominating win from Brendan Hobson. We barely talked about him tonight, and that is probably testament to his dominance. The fact that we barely needed to give him any kind of exposure tonight at all, because nobody's been in a position to challenge him. Simple as that. So he was the class of the field. He's got that job done. Fantastic work. We see him on the pit straight now doing that circle work. So let's give him a little bit of coverage now, because he well and truly deserves it. And yeah, fantastic run there. It all kind of came together there at the end like a well scripted story there, didn't it?
It did, and that is his 5th win of the Thunder Series. That makes, out of 10 outings, 5 wins for him. That is a very good strike ratio.
Yeah, fantastic work, and probably expected for a driver of his pedigree, but at the same time, you've got to go out there and do it, and he is in no way as familiar in these cars as some of the other guys are, so come out there and get those wins. Been absolutely fantastic effort from him, and hopefully we'll get a championship point score soon while we're running through the order, and we can confirm who's actually got that done as far as the drop rounds and everything when they come back into play. So we'll stick around. We might be able to find that out for you once it's all calculated and shakes out. And of course, as always, we're going to have the interviews with the top 3 drivers.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm sure Manny Hunter will be busy getting the abacus out and quickly working down the finishing order and getting the results up to us. So let's run through that finishing order. One last time, so Brendan Hobson with that win, Christopher Finlay 2nd, Hamish Gallagher in 3rd, 4th for Josh Mickelmore. A really good run for Josh Mickelmore there, getting it up to P4, managing to make 4 positions. Christopher Finlay as well, 4 positions gained. Brenton West there in 5th, another top 5 for Brenton West, really strong season for him. Kay Donnelly in 6th, nice run from him. Good battle with Ruben Phelps in 7th, 8th for Scott Griffiths. Good run as well for him, working his way into the top 10. Matty Raymond in 9th, for Matt Hunter finishing in 10th, also running the single stint as well. He made up 5 positions, a nice top 10 for him. Troy Davidson 11th, 12th for Norman Clark, 13th for Schultz, Wellman 14th, Callow 15th, 16th for Cock, Patton in 17th, 18th for Priest. Carol Walden, unfortunately, early doors for him down there in 19th position.
And while we're just waiting for some of the drivers to jump out to their cars and come in for an interview, we might speak to a bloke who we haven't spoken to pretty much all night. You're probably used to hearing him, but unfortunately, Carl and I have been yammering away and he's barely got a word in. But Stuart, what did you make of that one?
Yeah, what a great race. I mean, it was no surprise at all to see Hobbo lead from start to finish with his strength during practice. But Finlay there with the ultimate strategy, just rolling it out, managing the tyre throughout the full stint there, and just a couple of laps extra. I think he would have been gone. Hamish probably would have found a way past him, but himself and Josh Mickelmore just running the long game, and it worked out for them in the end. So a nice close finish between Mickelmore, West and Donnelly, and Ruben Phelps as well. It was a good finish at the end and a fitting end to the championship as well. I know Hobbo's got a lot of other stuff on. Really keen to see him jump into the Cup Series and test his wares, and give the DPR boys some challenge on the circuits that come up in the Cup as well, as on the oval track. But taking nothing away from Finlay and Gallagher as well, who drove really really good races.
Yeah, certainly. And the level in ANZCAR just keeps going up and up and up and up, doesn't it? Until you're finding drivers of this caliber coming in and running as well. It just makes the battle for the front. We've had so many different drivers win races this year, and that's been apparent across this series and the Cup and also the trucks as well. So it's been absolutely fantastic to see a couple of new faces come in and get some immediate success as well. So we've got the top three up here in the box. Might let you take it away, Carl. Hopefully we're going to have some points here soon, so we get a bit of an understanding about how the championship's all shaken out with those drop rounds. But I'll keep a bit of an eye on that, and you can take it away.
Yeah, so we'll start off with the third place man, the 13, Mr. Hamish Gallagher. Congratulations on that top three finish. I imagine you would have desperately wanted it to be P2, but just could not get Christopher Finlay there in the end.
Thanks, Carl. Yeah, I wasn't too fussed. Like we were debating the fuel before the race on what strategy we'd do, and I was quite happy to pit and just play it safe tonight. That's all I really wanted, and Chris did a really good job to hang on there. I didn't want to push him too hard in that last lap or so. Just don't want to ruin his race. He done a good job, and he deserves P2.
Yeah, and of course, playing it safe and keeping it on the track on the island was an important one tonight because you've got a championship to play for. We're just waiting for those updated results to come in, of course. But coming into the race, of course, did you have a bit of the old butterflies playing in your stomach?
It was all right. It's between, I think, me, Josh, and Hobbo, and whoever wins the championship deserves it. We had a good year, good season, between us, and whoever wins it gets the job done. Good on them.
Yeah, that's it. And it has been a strong season. You seem to be really in touch with these Xfinity cars. You just seem to have an affinity with them.
Yeah, it got off to a strong start there. Got a couple of wins, I think, in the first three races, and it sort of drifted a bit, and then haven't quite been able to close the deal out in a couple of races. Been a bit annoying on my behalf. Only got myself the blame for that. And last week was a bit, I don't know what I did wrong there, but I had absolutely no speed last week. It was all over the shop. But glad to finish the season off with a top three.
Congratulations with the top three finish. Might jump back to you shortly, and once we get all of the results in and everything settled down. I think it shouldn't be too long before we get that information.
I do have the results. I do have the championship results. Congratulations, Hamish Gallagher.
Thanks, Edward.
Season champion. Well done, mate. Fantastic. 8 points ahead of Josh Mickelmore, further 5 points ahead of Brenton Hodgson. So unofficial at this stage. Obviously, the stewarding's still got to be done, but well done, Hamish. First ANZCAR championship, I think I'm right in saying, so congratulations.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Edward. I think I sort of Matt Crafton my way into that championship. The thing is, Joshy he had the speed on the ovals, and Hobbo had the speed on the road courses. That one bad result in Asheville sort of hurt him. But I'll take the championship. Thank you very much.
No, congratulations on taking the championship out, and a well-deserved one as well. And I'm sure one of many to come as well for yourself, Hamish.
We'll see. But it's good to get something on the board.
No, and before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors and people you generally like to say hello to.
Yeah, just big thank you to everyone who's racing the series. It's been a lot of fun to pull this car out again. So big thank you to Matty H for organising it, and just the rest of the ANZCAR staff just for what they do. And I guess congratulations to Edward for the truck championship this week. Thank you to the team and you guys for the broadcast.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much, Hamish Gallagher. Congratulations on the championship and the P3.
Yes, thanks, Carl.
Next up, we'll head to P2, man. The Simboys driver, the guy that stayed out there, rolled the dice, and took that car for 33 laps on those tyres. Christopher Finlay, congratulations on that P2, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was quite dicey on fuel there towards the end, but I'm glad it stayed out.
Yeah, it was a bold strategy. It looked like it was. It looked like the wrong strategy when we first saw it. We were thinking, "What are you doing, staying out there? You know, you're surely going to lose so many places when you come into pit lane. You're not going to be able to go in those positions back." But sticking it out there and managing to keep that car on the track on those very old tyres, very impressive feat from that one. But it works out well for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was watching the lap times and I wasn't getting that much slower. So I was just starting to brake a little bit earlier, let the car roll through the corners and managed to be consistent on lap times. And I thought, well, why not? We're staying out.
How stressful was that final lap going up the S's and through the carousel?
Yeah, up through the bus stop there, I was the heart was pumping out of the chest. It was getting a bit dicey with Hamish coming up close. I was glad he kind of backed it off early so I didn't have to worry about it too much.
No, it was well defended and well driven all night long. We saw you having some good battles as well throughout the field back when you were battling it out between your teammate Kay Donnelly, Brenton West and Ruben Phelps as well earlier in the evening. But some good racing out there tonight, and obviously making this strategy work. It's given you a very strong finish to the season here in Thunder.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think most of the Sim boys have run pretty well in this series, and it was nice to finish out with a good result.
Yeah, it's great to have you up here and great to have you in that position, and hopefully we'll get you back in the booth in a bit of a shorter time and maybe one step higher.
That'd be nice, but if Brenton keeps rocking up, I don't think I'll get anywhere near
it. No, congratulations on P2. Well done. And as usual, shout out, love to sponsors.
I just want to make a big shout out to my wife. It's our 5-year wedding anniversary today, and she's letting me race, which is really nice of her. Love to give a shout out to my young man, Will. I'm going to show him this video a bit later on when he wakes up tomorrow, and he'll be stoked that I've called him out. And I'd also like to thank the Sim boys, because without them, I probably wouldn't be racing. So it's all fun.
Congratulations, and very nice of your wife there. I hope you have a wonderful night together, and you get to have a nice drink together and enjoy this top three finish.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. And also thanks to you guys in the broadcast and also ANZCAR.
You're always welcome. Congratulations again. Next up, we're going to head to P1, the winner of the race. Third place in the championship, Brenton Hobson. Congratulations on that win, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much. That was a lot of fun out there tonight.
You had a fair bit of pace.
Yeah, I did. I was not sure whether or not my old buddy Andrew was going to turn up tonight, because if he did, that it would have been a proper fisticuffs battle again. But when he didn't, I was fairly confident I'd have the speed to run at the front. It was just a case of picking out what strategy to go with on the pit stop or not pit stop front. But I think I probably had the pace to go either way tonight. So in the end, it was not a very stressful race, but it was a very enjoyable one.
No, you looked pretty in control up there. I mean, these cars they're challenging to drive, aren't they? They're not the easiest things, but you sort of almost do make it look kind of easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like that old thing where if something looks slow but it's fast, I mean, you can't hustle these cars. You got to drive them pretty slowly to go fast in them. So I was just sort of analysing the lap speed from that race there, and I took it really easy in the first stint. I was contemplating the drive to the end with no stop option, and I did about 10 laps and my pace was reasonable. And then I decided I had enough of a gap. I'd come in and pit, take tyres and just blast to the end. And my lap speed was not really any faster in the second half. All I did was wear my tyres out quicker. So they're the sort of cars you can't overdrive, because they don't like that. You're rewarded for looking after tyres and things like that. So once you figure out how they work and try and understand how to carry good corner speed and things like that, then they make a bit more sense. But they're certainly hard to just jump into and go quick.
Yeah, they're not the easiest things to master, but you've been doing a great job this season. It was their first season in ANZCAR, and getting it up there in the top three for the championship. That must be a pretty good feeling.
It is, yeah. I mean, I didn't really probably expect to be in the top three in the championship. Like when I first started, I did look at the two road courses and thought, well, there's a good shout there, but I had no comprehension of where I'd stack up on the oval stuff, to be honest. So just to even be anywhere near the front is pretty cool. And yeah, I think I've achieved what I set out to achieve from running in this series.
Yeah, I think it's a 50% win rate as well for you as well, which is that's a pretty good stat to have for a season. I mean, not many people will complain at that one. With the season, how did you enjoy yourself out there for your first season in ANZCAR?
Oh, it was a heap of fun. I mean, I've always enjoyed the concept of oval racing, but I've never really enjoyed doing it because I've never found a nice little place to come and actually race where you're not spending forever under caution, getting frustrated and things like that. So to come in here and have a run with these guys, as people have been telling me to do for a long time now, but it's delivered something that you don't always get on the iRacing in the oval side of stuff, which is good, hard, but clean racing with people. And I mean, we've had 1 or 2 races on the ovals that went caution free, I think. And even the ones that have had cautions, you haven't been spending the whole night rolling around under yellows. So there's a bunch of guys in here that all respect each other and race accordingly. And that's exactly what you need for this sort of racing for it to be fun. And I mean, I've really, really enjoyed my time.
We're glad to have you, and I've got to ask, obviously, I mean, we know you're a busy man and you've got a lot of things that you do throughout the week, but will we possibly see you on a Thursday night in future for the Cup, or possibly on a Monday in the future for the Truck Series?
Yeah, I think you'll see me somewhere. I haven't really fully decided where or what yet. My plan was to move over to Cup as of next week, which may still happen, but I've got some other stuff that's popped up on Thursday nights too. So maybe the trucks even, I'm not sure. We'll just see what the schedules look like going forward. And I fully intend to be here doing something though. I'm just not quite sure what yet.
Well, we're excited to see what that brings because, as we say, we like to get some competition in the series, and you've brought some competition. We're going to have to step our games up a little bit as well in some areas, but of course on those ovals as well, it gives you some good learning experience and obviously a bit of fun to race on them. So before I let you go, Mr. Hobbo, who would like to give a shout out and some love tonight?
I'll shout out to the team, SSR, a really cool bunch of guys and a lot of fun to be around. And to all the sponsors we've got, JK Signs, Aftershock PC, Smith & Son, Stowe Photo, DGD Customs, and all the rest. There's a heap of them. They're all important and they help the wheels turn on the team. Obviously, a shout out to you guys for running a broadcast on this. It's really cool to have a broadcast on series like this, and you do a really good job with it, which is nice. And obviously to ANZCAR as well as a whole for running it all, because without that, then this wouldn't exist. So a shout out to all the guys involved and everyone that helps get it done every week and put on such a great series. And obviously a shout out to all the drivers, because I haven't known most of these guys when I've jumped in here, and everyone's been really accommodating and really good fun to race around and really, really clean. And that's the sort of stuff you're looking for whenever you join a new league that you haven't been a part of before. And lastly, just to obviously to Hamish and Josh, congrats with the 1-2 in the championship. Great series for those guys and that team. And thanks in particular to Josh, because he's the one who sort of reached out to get me to come over here and have a run. But maybe next time we can throw a cat amongst the pigeons and get up there and challenge those two.
Congratulations. We look forward to seeing the future for you. And congratulations to all three of you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you up here in the booth again, hopefully very soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So, final race for Thunder is over and done with. And we were treated to some great racing here at Watkins Glen. Of course, we're going to be doing it again tomorrow night, but with slightly different cars.
Yeah, we're going to be back for the Cup Series tomorrow night. So that's going to be an interesting one as we get ever closer to the chase. Now it's all starting to get a little bit serious and a little bit mattering a lot more with the points and scenario for some of those guys up there during the top. But just reflecting back on tonight, great race. I mean, Hobson drove exactly as we thought he was going to. We knew that he was going to be out the front most likely on his own with how good he is with this type of stuff. That was expected. We expected Hamish to be there in the top 3. Coming away with the championship, fantastic. But for me, the thing that's going to be the overriding memory in my night is the drive from Chris Finlay. Not only does he do it on his wedding anniversary, but he goes out there, does not pit, and takes a second place. The guy's got balls like melons. So he's just got out there and got that done. You know, he can strut around with his sunnies on tomorrow all he wants. I think just with that one, at least he can say to his wife that time wasn't wasted with the great result he managed to pull. So yeah, for me, that's drive of the night.
So, I mean, if you want stakes, you know, your wife says to you, you know, yes, you can race, but you got to get a top 3 finish. You know, that's how you get a top 3 finish, ladies and gentlemen. You put it all on the line there. Just quickly, we're just going to run through the unofficial final standings for the Thunder Series. So, Hamish Gallagher does take out the championship win with Josh Micklemore second, Brenton Hobson in third. Ruben Phelps ended up in fourth position. Nice, strong season for him. Brenton West in fifth position. A very strong first season in ANZCAR for Brenton West. Maddie Raymond sixth, seventh for Kate Donnelly. Norman Clark in 8th, 9th for Matt Hunter, Gary Wellman rounding out the top 10. So another great series, another great run here for Thunder. Of course, the first time for Thunder on FGM, but with the Xfinity cars as well. And we saw a really good season. Yeah,
we certainly did. Obviously managed to compete in a few of the races and watch the rest of them. So I've been fairly well across what's been going on in the series. It's been great from start to finish. We've been really fortunate this year, in particular in ANZCAR, that the racing's just been as good as it was. We mentioned earlier on how many different winners we've had there, how many guys we've had running up the front, getting good results, second places, top fives. You know, there's so many good guys coming through, even if they're not quite at the front yet. There's all the old guys are still around and still getting it done, and we've also obviously had a few real disruptors come in there and shake things up right at the front of the field from the get-go. So the future's looking very, very bright as far as this particular series and all the others. It's going to be fascinating to see how the Cup season progresses from here. It's going to be very interesting to see the next Truck Series and the next Thunder Series, how that's all going to go. So, yeah, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great.
That's it, and we look forward to bringing it to you here on FGM eCast, of course. A big thank you to Stuart for doing all the camera work and being good up there, keeping nice and quiet so we can commentate without too much disruption, of course.
That makes my job nice and easy. And, of course, as you mentioned, we are back tomorrow night, little later start on a Thursday night, 8 p.m. for the Cup. So we'll be back here at Watkins Glen to bring that to you from 8 p.m. tomorrow night, and then we'll return with that special event on Monday night as well. So things reasonably status quo. We are definitely going to be back on a Wednesday night in a couple of weeks as well. So the series will return. We'll have to keep a watch out on the ANZCAR social pages for more information about that, and we'll bring some of that to you as well as soon as we have that information. But otherwise, gents, thanks, Ed, for popping in as a special guest tonight. Always good to have your experience on the stream. Carl, as always, likewise to you, and we'll enjoy as best you can your few days away from streaming. We'll see you at some stage when you return next week. And from us on FGM eCast, your E-Place for Pace. That's it for a Wednesday night. We will catch you tomorrow night at 8.